Alright folks, welcome back. What I'm going to go over today is another decorating slash design technique that involves using a torch and actually stretching the clay. You get some pretty interesting patterns. So I already have my clay here centered. Add my hole in the middle. Try and be quick about this part. Now I'm going to pull my cylinder, but I don't want to get it too thin. That's pretty good. That's a lot thicker than I would normally throw a piece. Or throw a cylinder. I'd say it's about a little less than a centimeter thickness. The reason why I do that is because I'm going to cut into it with a sharp thin edge, say your metal rib. And you can use a needle tool, but I've found it doesn't work quite as well. So I'm just going to cut a pattern just very slightly in here. I don't want to go too deep. I'm just going to go up the piece here. Keep it simple. Now, I'm going to dry the piece off with a torch. Go ahead and pause it. So now I've got my blowtorch here. I'm going to spin the wheel slowly. And I'm going to dry out this outer shell. Now I scratched in on this side there, so that's going to split apart and leave a pretty interesting pattern, I think. Now you don't have to do those cuts. You can just do this on a plain outside, no cuts, and that outer shell is going to dry, and when I go to stretch the piece with the shaping, it'll start to crackle out and make another interesting pattern. But I wanted to show you something that could probably show up on camera a little better. Now I made vertical cuts. It's very important that you don't cut in horizontally on the piece. If I do that, then it's just going to split. You can go ahead and try it and you'll see what I mean. I can't really explain it very well. It's just something that you'll have to experience if you don't believe me. So you can see the steam starting to come out on the inside, which means I'm pretty much good to start shaping that on the inside. So now you want to be careful because the inside is going to be wicked ass hot. So I like to use a sponge, and I'm not going to touch the outside, which again is going to be awkward for me because I was taught to have one hand on the inside and one hand as support on the out. Now you won't be able to see it happening because it's spinning right now, but you have to go slow and steady, and I'm going to push that shape out, and then I'll stop the wheel and you'll see what's going on. You'll notice if you do this that on the inside, your inside hand's going to be bumping around. Well, that's because the walls are no longer consistently even thanks to those cuts. So you have to go slow and steady and gentle, because you're going to have a tendency to go through where those cuts are. So you can see how these are splitting now, right? I hope. So I've dampened the inside with my sponge, so it's cool enough for me to go in with just my fingers. I recommend doing that because that's going to give you a better understanding or better feel of how much further you can push without splitting the walls completely. There, it's starting to stretch a little bit more. If you do end up splitting through in those cracks, there's an easy fix, because there's some cool texture you'll see if you do this yourself in there. All you do is take some of the slip on your hands and kind of push it back in there and then call it done. Or you can leave the cracks. You know, that's a pretty cool design aspect too. Not everything has to hold water. You can make a nice candle holder, or it can just be a nice vase. It doesn't have to function anything beyond just fun to look at. So that's pretty good. We have some nice splitting here. And so now I'm going to work on this top edge, and I'm going to use both hands to really drive this shape home. That off there. And there you go. I hope that made sense. Give that a try, it's pretty cool. Just don't get burned and don't burn your house down. So, thanks for watching.